Hi, it's the Lipstick Gal. Thank you so much for watching. And today I'm so excited to be cracking into the Estee Lauder Holiday Blockbuster. This is something that I have reviewed for years and I always seem to really like. But we'll break down whether it's worth it for you and what the cost of the products actually are, because it always says here this is a purchase with purchase, meaning if you make an initial purchase of any amount for an additional $90, you can get this entire set. And it says it has a value of $652. We're going to unpack whether it's really worth that much or not today. Let me show you first. It comes in this really beautiful bag. It has two compartments. One compartment is really rather deep, and the other one is a little bit shallower, but it has a pocket in it. I really feel like these bags can come in really useful if you do a lot of traveling. I also like that it's polka dotted and it has a really beautiful, like the gold detailing on here is actually really rather lovely. And it says Estee Lauder on the zipper pulls. I'm going to start with this. This is the Advanced Night Repair. This is kind of what Estee Lauder is known for. I'm going to use just a couple of drops of this and spread it onto my clean skin. This is one of my favorite things from Estee Lauder. I've always liked the Advanced Night Repair. I've always thought it was a really great serum, and the older I get, the more and more I appreciate it. It's got some really great hydrating properties to it, but I also find that it does a really good job of keeping my skin really, really happy. All right, next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go into this. This is the Advanced Night Repair Eye Supercharged Gel Cream. And if you were to get a full size of this, I'm just gonna use what's in the cap here. This would be $76, and you really don't need a lot. This is another thing that I love from Estee Lauder and that I have purchased on its own. I'm not always just purchasing makeup from Estee Lauder, although I do really enjoy some of their makeup. But this has a really beautiful feel to it. I am very curious to try their new eye product. I haven't gotten around to trying it yet. Next, I'm going to throw on this. This is the Supreme Plus Youth Power Cream. And I believe this is one that comes in a refillable pod. I'm right. I love that Estee Lauder has started making refills so you can keep your jar and just get the pod refill. If you were to get this full size product, it's $70. I'm just going to use what's on the lid here. These products definitely have a scent to them. If you are scent averse, that is one thing that I really wish that some of these more prestige brands would stop putting fragrance in their skincare, because it can be something that is difficult for people with sensitive skin or those who deal with rosacea to be able to use some of these products. And maybe they're trying to cover up some of the smells that the natural ingredients have on their own. I don't have a problem with this scent, but then again, I'm not the sort of person who has sensitive skin. I do like the way that it moisturizes. It's a little bit on the heavier side. My skin feels really, really moisturized and really bouncy. Did I mention that this is $70 for a full 1 ounce? You can scale up and get like a 1.7 ounce or 2.5. This comes in several sizes, but the 1 ounce size that comes in the set is a full size product and normally retails for $70. But I do like the way that it makes my skin feel. It is just a skosh on the heavier side. Okay, a couple of things left when it comes to skincare. I love this. This is the Advanced Night Repair Cleansing Gelée. It has 15 amino acids in it. This is one of my favorite. First of all, I love the smell of this. Remember, if you are scent averse, keep that in mind. But I love the way that this smells. It smells to me like a spa. I actually have one of these in my bathroom right now, and I love it. And every time I open it, it definitely gives me a moment of like, It's also great because it doesn't overstrip my skin. Keep in mind though, I have mostly combo skin where I have oils in my T-zone and normal to slightly dry other places. The older I get, the drier my skin gets. But this is great. It doesn't dry me out. It doesn't overstrip my skin, but I don't have skin that's prone to that. All right, last thing in here is this. This is the Re-Nutrive Intensive Soothing Hand Cream. I'm going to take my rings off because I want to put this on. I've had this in years past. lasts and I really like it. It's kind of an expensive little hand treatment. This Renutrieve hand treatment is $25 an ounce. We're getting a 1 ounce here. I did the math to break it down because I think they're selling it 3.4 ounces for $85. I think that's what it was on the website. I might be wrong on that, but I did the math and I figured out that it's $25 an ounce. Now, my hands feel very hydrated, and I definitely needed that. I've never used this for long enough to know whether it's going to miraculously change the look of my hands, but it's obviously from the Renutrieve line, so it's kind of like their kind of more intense line of therapy for skin. But it is a very nice hand cream. Does have a slight scent to it, but it's one I'll definitely drop in my handbag and have when I need. But I do like that they have a little tiny travel size for us to try out. I forgot to mention the value of this. Normally the full size is 3.4 ounces and it's $34, so it's $10 an ounce. And this is 2.5 ounces, so this is actually valued at $25, this cleansing gelée. All right, now I'm gonna throw on the rest of my face and I'll be back for the makeup. I'm so excited to see what the eyeshadow palette is like this year. There are two options. I went for the warm option as opposed to the cool option. The cool option had more lavender and kind of pinky shades, but these are definitely my style of boring Betty eyeshadows. I've never really been a big fan of Estee Lauder's eyeshadows that come in the holiday sets, and I've never figured out, and maybe I should just break down and buy one of the quads to see whether the formula is different. But I'm going to start with this one right here. This is the lightest shade. Wow. Okay. And I'm just going to throw this across the lid. I'm going to grab some of this one on the same brush. This one has a little bit more of, is this a matte? I'm kind of looking for the pigment and I'm not really finding it. It's not the deepest brown in here, but it's the second deepest brown in here. Well, I'm never going to be able to overdo it with these shadows. I'm going to reach into the deepest brown in here and pick up just a little bit of this and really try and intensify this outer corner. I'm trying to decide between these two metallic shades here, which one I should go for. I think I'm going to try and put some of this kind of old gold on the lid. You know, this is performing a little bit better than last year's eyeshadow palette. I like that. And then I'm going to use the lightest shade in here, and I'm going to put this right in my inner corner. Wow. Okay, that has some sparkle to it. Okay, I'm liking this eye look. This is the first time in years that I've actually liked the eyeshadows from the Holiday Blockbuster. I've been very let down by products in the past. This is last year's palette, and these just felt really dusty to me. I didn't really like them. I feel like the powders this year are just a little creamier. They're just a little bit more, I don't know. They're still very subtle on the eye. I had to build and build, but I feel like I got a better overall look with this eye look than I did in years past. And I feel like maybe the powders are a little bit different. So when it comes to value, it's kind of hard to figure out what these are worth, this palette. This palette has 8.7 grams of product in there. If you were to get one of their quads, and the refillable quads are priced at $60 and have 4 grams of product. So this is the equivalent of 2 and a little bit more full-size eyeshadows. I feel like you're getting a couple of different color stories in here. I feel like, you know, there's a lot of that you can do with this. If we were to value them the exact same you would for one of the full-size ones, is $130.50. And I feel like for this in limited edition packaging that's plastic, $130, that's more than a Pat McGrath eyeshadow. One of the big, you know, mothership palettes. I'm not sure that it's worth that much, but that's the value they're placing on it for this set. So when we're doing the math later and we're adding everything up, that's when it'll come into play. This set does come with a full-size Sumptuous Extreme mascara. This is not my favorite mascara, so I didn't even use it today. The reason I skipped it is because once I use it, I can't give it to anybody else. And I would much rather share this with somebody who I know likes this mascara. It never has worked well for me. It always tends to transfer and to smudge. So I'm going to give it to my 15-year-old who I know loves it. And for whatever reason, it doesn't, maybe they don't wear as much eye cream as I do. They're not going to have the problem with it smudging for them. But this is a $35 value. All right, I need some blush. And in here comes this cute little blush stick. It's kind of like a blush and highlighter in one. And it's in the shade Rose Gold. Looks like this. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a brush and pick it up off the back of my hand, because I'm worried that if I go straight to my face with this, it's going to be too much. And that it's going to pick up foundation and powder and other things, because I do have my face powdered. So I'm just going to pick some of this up and just pounce it in place. And we'll use this as highlight and blush since it is a little bit rosy and a little bit golden. It's hard to find a value for a product like this because Estee Lauder is not currently selling blush sticks. But I was looking at the price for their powder blush, which they sell for $44, and it has a similar amount. So if we were getting a full-size powder blush, it'd be 0.24 ounces, and this right here is 0.23 ounces. Let's just see how much blush we're getting here. There we go. This is how much we're getting. I feel like it's a pretty decent formula. It does feel a little bit on the creamy side. It doesn't feel like it's drying down. So if you are averse to like creamy and tacky cheeks, that is something to keep in mind, because this, yeah, still feels tacky, and it's been about a minute. I would expect it to have dried down by now. It does give a beautiful glow on the skin. Because it has that hydrated formula to it. Let's talk lip products. So right now, Estee Lauder has a set of 5 of these lip glosses. It's part of their holiday kits, and it says it's a value of $125. So they're expecting each one of these to be valued at $25. I have the shade Dazzle Me. It's kind of like a rosy pink. All right, let's see what it looks like on. Oh, it has a really nice fragrance to it. It smells really, really sweet. I like that it's not too heavy. It doesn't feel really, really goopy or really heavy. Okay, one thing to note, as I'm talking, I can see that I need to wipe out the inner rim of my lips, because this does kind of goop and stick to itself a little bit. I was hoping that wouldn't be the case. I find that it's usually the holiday sets don't have like the same exact formula. They have just released a new lip oil, and I was hoping that they would put that formula in this set. They didn't. I feel like this lip gloss is really pretty, and as long as you know its limits, that it's not going to be super heavy and occlusive on the lips, it's going to be lightweight, and that you want to make sure it doesn't end up touching itself so it doesn't string and pull, I think you'd be just fine. There are 2 lipsticks in the set. They're really pretty. They do happen to have a really pretty bow detail on them. So I think that's nice, both on the front and the back. This shade is called Sneak Peek. This is a really pretty shade. Oh, I like this. It's a really pretty mauve shade. It definitely leans maybe a little bit more rose than mauve, but it's a very pretty, very wearable shade. I feel like this shade would work well for a lot of people. The other shade that they have in this set is a bright kind of tomato red. This one's called Red Ribbon. I can't wait to get it on. Oh, I love a red lipstick, and this one is beautiful. Here is Red Ribbon and Sneak Peek. Okay, if you were to buy one of their full-size lipsticks, and I did, this is what I bought to be able to, a purchase of any price, it's this. This was $42. So they're valuing these at $42. I always wonder if, you know, the value would be a little less if we're being realistic, because it's plastic limited edition packaging. We're not getting the same refillable packaging that we're getting with, like the regular packaging. This also has a magnetic closure. I feel like there are some differences because this right here weighs the same as two of these. Packaging is definitely different. That's always true in the holiday sets, but I just wanted you to know, I do feel like the formula is really comfortable. It is a beautiful, they're both cream lipsticks. They both have a nice glide to them. They are subtly fragrance. It's just ever so slightly sweet. It mostly smells like lipstick, but I'm not sure if I'm smelling, like what's on the back of my hand that was the lip gloss. Lip gloss is very fragranced, but I do feel like there might be just a touch of fragrance in the lipsticks. If we're adding up all of the products based on price per ounce, based on, a full-size lipstick would be $42. This right here is $35. If we're doing that to everything that comes in the set, the total value is $599.50. 50 cents is because this was like $130 and 50 cents. But this is the first time I've actually liked an eyeshadow palette from Estee Lauder from the Blockbuster in years. I really feel like I got a really pretty look from it, and I feel like I would be willing to reach for it again. Whereas in years past, I use it for the video and then it never sees the light of day again. It just gets shoved to the back until I do a declutter and then I'm like, goodbye. But I do feel like the makeup is just a little bit better this year. I do like the cream blush. I think that's lovely. And I like that they're giving you options when it comes to lipstick. I like that we're getting a lip gloss as well as two lipsticks. I feel like we have a lot of options if you're looking for something a little bit more nude, if you're looking for something that's a little bit more everyday, or if you're looking for the statement red, you have it. And I feel like it's really lovely. If the color scheme is what's keeping you from being like, you know what? I'm not going to wear that red lipstick, or I don't like bronzy eyeshadows. Keep in mind that Estee Lauder has this set in two colorways. This is the warm set, so it has kind of like a warmer blush, a warm red lipstick, as well as more neutral options, and kind of like the everyday sort of browns that would work well for people who tend to have a warmer undertone. But if you're like, nope, that's not for me, they do have an entire set that is cool. So it has more pink toned lipsticks. It has pinks and purples in the eyeshadow palette, and the blush is a different shade. It's not quite this same slightly rosy pink shade. So with the products adding up to $599.50, it actually means that they're putting a value of $52.50 on this bag. Now, it's a lovely bag. I do think it's a very nice bag. I like the look of it. I think I would probably use it, but I don't know that it, for me, as a consumer, that it's worth $52.50. But that's just doing the math. You're breaking everything down, price per ounce, figuring it out, and what's left over goes towards the bag. It is a nice bag, and I probably will use it or gift it to a friend who would use it. But I do feel like this set is definitely worth it. You're getting 6 makeup items and 5 skincare items. Only 3 of these skincare items are full size. I do like that we're getting the refillable Supreme Plus Youth Cream. I do really like this eye cream, and I have purchased it on its own in the past, and I'm a big fan of this. Now, the other things that we're getting that are kind of skincare related, definitely something for your handbag, something to throw in, maybe keep it in your car. But these are not full-size items. This is kind of close. The full size is 3.4. This is 2.5 ounces. And this is only a 1 ounce. But it's a very, very pricey 1 ounce hand cream. All right, for the makeup, if you love lip products, I think you're going to love this. I feel like the eyeshadow palette is so much better this year than years past. And even though they don't normally sell blush stick items, I feel like this one's really rather nice. I like the color that it gives. It still feels slightly tacky on the face, but not in a really bad way. Now, this is definitely not my favorite mascara, but if it is yours, it comes in here, and I feel like that $90 price point is a perfect place to price this entire set, because you are getting a ton of good products in here. So if you're asking if it's worth it, I think it is. Now, if you're wondering, okay, what's the one product that I'm going to buy? Ask yourself, do you like Estee Lauder fragrances? There's a ton of beautiful fragrances from Estee Lauder. You might like their new Double Wear Concealer. You might be a fan of their Double Wear Foundation. They've got some really beautiful base products. I feel like they've really hit the up button in the last couple of years, and some really great things are coming out of Estee Lauder. And it's been a while since I've kind of sat up and paid attention to Estee Lauder. I feel like they're doing a lot of things right. I feel like they're making some really essential changes, because for the longest time, you just couldn't get me to pay attention to Estee Lauder. I like the skincare and I would buy a few things there, but the makeup just kind of had me going, well, not for me. But I really feel like, yeah, we've turned a corner. I feel like we're getting some great things in this set. Here's where I want to know, are you an Estee Lauder fan? If you are, what's your favorite product? Are you planning on getting this set? And if so, are you going for the warm or for the cool set? Or if you're planning to pick it up as a gift for somebody else, who is that lucky person? Thank you so much for making the time to watch today. If you have any questions, leave them in the comment section below. I check all of my comments and it's always my delight to respond to them. I hope you have an incredible day. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you again soon.